welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Do you miss me yet? Do you miss me yet? I'm going to continue to fight right by your side. We will do what we've done right from the beginning, which is to win. We're not starting new parties. You know, they kept saying, he's going to start a brand new party. We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before. I am not starting a new party. Many people have asked, what is Trumpism? A new term being used more and more. I'm hearing that term more and more. I didn't come up with it. It means low taxes and eliminating job-killing regulations, Trumpism. It means strong borders. It means no riots in the streets. It means law enforcement. It means very strong protection for the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. It means support for the forgotten men and women who have been taken advantage of for so many years, and they were doing great. And it means a strong military. And of course, we respect our great American flag.
Hello, everybody. It's Red Pill 66, and it is Wednesday afternoon. I'm in a little bit of a better mood today. Yesterday, I was really angry with a lot of stuff that went on. There still is one thing that is making me a little angry. However, maybe I should get that out now. You heard about all of the National Guard soldiers that got sick from food that they received, metal shavings that were in rice. And the fact that this is happening to them really pisses me off. They shouldn't even be at the Capitol anymore. Nobody is going to do anything. And I'm sure we have to wait till tomorrow when they realize nothing else is going to happen at the Capitol, that they let these guys go home. They're being treated like crap. And it's very frustrating. And they had it on the news in some places, but you didn't find it on the mainstream media news, which is very frustrating. Oh, too much of a glare on my glasses. So anyway, over a dozen soldiers stationed at the Capitol are sick after provided with undercooked food, according to the Daily Caller. Members of the National Guard allegedly found metal shavings in over 70 meals, and some were made sick by undercooked meat on Sunday, an ABC affiliate reported Monday. A Michigan National Guard staff sergeant, whose identity is being withheld, said this is a common problem for service members stationed at the U.S. Capitol building following the January 6th riot, 7 Action News reported. Yesterday, for instance, there were 74 different meals found with raw beef in them, the sergeant said, 7 Action News reported. The sergeant also said soldiers had found metal shavings in their food. While the quality of the provided meals have been a problem, the sergeant reportedly said that the service members frequently don't get enough to eat, according to 7 Action News. So seriously, these soldiers are in the United States, and they are guarding the Capitol and guarding your your congressmen and your senators, and they can't even be fed. This is freaking ridiculous. Oh my God. The more I read, the madder I get. President Biden fucking sucks. His administration sucks. Pelosi sucks. They're all a bunch of fucking losers. And I am beyond pissed right now. They're either getting maybe a Danish or some sort of juice. And there are certain days it is clearly a dinner roll and a Sunny D. What the hell? These governors need to recall all of their National Guard to home. Call them home. And I hope more governors read this and start pulling them back. This is, oh my God. I didn't want to get mad today, but guess what? I'm bullshit. They said, all right, we're going to go make sure we spot check them. And we're also going to start having them add temperatures to it, the sergeant said. At 140, you cook that chicken, undercook it to 140, and now you're telling us that it's a 30-minute drive? This is what you say on a little place card that's inaudible? Good for 4 hours? No, it's not. It wasn't good from the start, and now it's had hours to become even more dangerous. Over a dozen service members were in the hospital after consuming undercooked food, falling ill, 7 Action News reported. After several complaints about the quality of food provided, Democratic Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer reached out to the acting Secretary of the Army. Now, after the raw meat yesterday for dinner, they have told us not to eat the meals for the next 2 days and are giving us MREs instead. Soldiers are now paying for all their own meals for the next 2 days in order to get real food, the sergeant said on Monday, News reported. That's even more. Oh my God, I can't read anymore because it's making me so mad that they're even being treated like this in our own fucking country. Oh God, I can't read that anymore. I can't read it anymore. I'm so angry that I'm going to cry. I just can't. This is bullshit. All right, I'm going to play a video so I can pull myself back together. This shit pisses me off. Sorry. Well, that's weird. Let's try that again. Another Democrat media narrative goes up in flames. FBI official admits no firearms were confiscated by law enforcement at the Capitol riot on the 6th. Let me find the video so I can play this. Where is it? Here we go.
How many firearms were confiscated?
Let's go back this way.
National Guard, and to all Americans to take a hard look at these security failures. Both the preparation, that was inadequate, clearly, and the response, which also had some gaps we'll talk about.
And I'm going to redo this. I'm sorry. Let's, it got paused, and it's right at that section where it blows their narrative out.
How many firearms were confiscated in the Capitol or on Capitol grounds during that day?
To my knowledge, we have not recovered any on that day from any other arrests at the scene at this point. But I don't want to speak on behalf of Metro and Capitol Police, but to my knowledge, none.
So nobody's been charged with an actual firearm weapon in the Capitol or on Capitol grounds?
Correct. The closest we came was the vehicle that had the Molotov cocktails in it. And when we did a search of that vehicle later on, there was a weapon. But
How many shots were fired that we know of?
I believe the only shots that were fired were the ones that resulted in the death of the one lady.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate the chair's comments about a bipartisan, nonpartisan investigation here, seeking out the truth. That's what I'm trying to do. Cognizant of how I was reacted to by offering an eyewitness account at the last hearing, I'll risk entering another piece of reporting into the record. This is from the New York Times. Hopefully that'll be viewed more favorably. The title is A Small Group of Militants' Outsized Role in the Capitol Attack. In that report, it says federal prosecutors have said members of the Oath Keepers militia group planned and organized their attack and, quote, put into motion the violence that overwhelmed the Capitol. The reason I'm entering this in the record and read that quote is that it really does seem to align with the eyewitness account that I read portions of in the record last week. No conspiracy theory, just an eyewitness account from a knowledgeable observer. I didn't get to the point of the actual attack, and I want to just read a couple excerpts. This is the title, Provocateurs Turn Unsuspecting Marches into an Invading Mob. And again, these provocateurs are primarily white supremacist groups. Then a loud bellowing shout from behind, quote, forward, do not retreat, forward. Then two other men standing across from one another on the high granite curbs on either side of the footpath bellowed variations of forward, do not dare retreat. Some made direct eye contact at people and pointed directly at them as if trying to psych them into submitting. A third man standing on a chair also shouting forward, reached down and grabbed me by the shoulder and barked, don't retreat, get back up there. It wasn't an expression of enthusiasm or solidarity. It sounded like a military order, and it wasn't from a wild-eyed kid. This guy.
So, all the lies that they have been telling about the 6th, out of, I want to say, the million Trump supporters that were in Washington, maybe 500 of them, no matter what group that they were with, got into the Capitol, and that they're calling us all terrorists, and every lie that they've put out there has been debunked. No firearms confiscated by anybody. Unbelievable. So, Have you all heard about Kayleigh McEnany, who is going to be coming back to Fox? Yeah. At least we'll be able to see her. As the White House press secretary, McEnany became a beloved figure among conservative base. She's never afraid to speak her mind, and she never hesitated to call the mainstream media out on their lies and attempted gotcha glitch questions. Many conservatives believe that Fox News made a great decision hiring her, as the network has begun to fall out of favor with its audience. This decision may be exactly what the news channel needs to bring conservative commentary back. Watch some of McEnany's best moments as press secretary here. But I am going to just share a quick video. Let me do this right now. And bring it on up.
Do not consider it a miscarriage of justice when you have the FBI writing, "We want to get someone to lie"?
Oh, I don't hear any sound.
Is that
Hold
a miscarriage
on.
of justice?
Well, isn't that
Ask you about
interesting?
something the
There's
president
no
said moments
sound.
ago. In
So
an
I'm
interview.
going
Said
to
that Tara Reid is, quote, far
stop
more
sharing that
compelling than
video because that's not the one I
anything
want. I'm going to do it a different way. There was... All right, I'll just share this screen because it's probably better. Let me do this instead.
And see that energy. He's changed this party for a long time to come in a way that's very positive.
You know, he talked about the future for really the first time substantively that we have heard since he left office. What did he say that you recognized, and what did he say that you were surprised by?
I was not surprised by anything he said, but I think one thing that needs to be said, though, is that he has grown this party in a way that I think members of the Republican Party should recognize. He got the highest percentage of the black vote of any Republican candidate running for national office in 20 years. Highest percentage of the Hispanic vote of any Republican running for office in 16 years. He has made this party more inclusive, more expansive, more welcoming, and I think that Republicans on the Hill, who are so quick to say President Trump doesn't have a place in this party, they need to look at the numbers and why these new voters, who aren't typically Republican voters, came to the party, and it's because he offered economic hope and opportunity to a lot of...
Yeah, and then this is her first interview since. Let's listen to this one.
I think that you find a home in those names, and certainly in President Trump.
And it is my distinct pleasure today to welcome Kayleigh McEnany to the Fox family. We will be seeing much more of her in the future. And coming up just a bit later this hour, more from Kayleigh, including meeting the challenges of being a new mom while serving in the White House.
Before I was leaving to go up to D.C., I think that you find a home in those names, and certainly in President Trump.
Okay, stop sharing. So that is pretty smart of Fox to do that, because they lost so many people. So many people because of turning against Donald Trump. And a lot of people are starting to realize now that Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. And if you notice, it might be my opening, and I have parts of Donald Trump's speech from CPAC. He's not going to start a new party. We shouldn't start a new party. Get back into the Republican Party. We need our numbers strong. we need them strong, because we got to take out these fools that are in the White House now. We need to take out the fools that are in our government, and just have such a big red wave that it'll wipe out all of the blue. Gone, 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 gone. And listening to my governor today, talking about the vaccines. Have you noticed that not one politician has died from the virus, lost their job, or had their businesses looted? Not a one. Because we're all being played, right? I'm not saying that there isn't a virus, and I'm not saying people haven't died, but I think a lot of people died from this because of what happened to them when they were in the hospitals, and what some of these governors did by sending sick people to our most fragile people out there, sending them to nursing homes. Ooh, okay. So, there was something else I did want to talk about, and I got so angry that I just lost what I wanted to talk about today. But I think it really does have to do with, oh, I get it. Yeah, we're talking about the virus, and it was the lockdowns and all that stuff. Texas is opening everything up, no restrictions, no mask mandates. Mississippi, same thing. You're going to see more and more of these states opening up and dropping these restrictions. The economy has been devastated by this, and how much panic is out there. I was talking to a nurse last night who was saying masks work. They work. They work. My attitude is, if you're not sick, you don't need a mask. If you're sick, you wear a mask. If you're afraid, wear a mask. But don't force us all to wear masks. And I wasn't about to argue with her. I just let her go and let her go and let her go. And the people sitting at my table were finally like, enough is enough already. So now I know never to have a discussion with her again when it comes to this. I've got another little clip I wanna play. General Walker blows a gigantic hole in the Democrats' Capitol riots. So let me pull this up, and I am going to play it. I hit the play button.
Thank you, Chairman Peters, and thanks to our witnesses. General Walker can continue to talk about your recollection, if you don't mind. This morning, you have testified that you received this letter from our Secretary McCarthy on January 5th, so just the day before the attack on the Capitol. In that letter, did Secretary McCarthy prohibit you from employing the National Guard's Quick Reaction Force without his authorization?
So I have the letter in front of me, and his letter does not, but it is the Secretary of Defense says that I have to use it as a last resort. But the Secretary of the Army told me, and it's I have the letter, that I could not use the quick reaction force. I'll just read it. I withhold authority to approve employment of the District of Columbia National Guard Quick Reaction Force and will do so only as a last resort in response to a request from an appropriate civil authority. I will require a concept of operation prior to authorizing employment of a quick reaction force. Now, a quick reaction force normally is a commander's tool to go help either a civilian agency, but more typically to help the National Guardsmen who are out there and need assistance.
Yeah,
So, blowing more holes in the narratives, are we? That they had information the day before, which means this was not because of Donald Trump. And this is going to bring me to an argument that I had with my my sister. No, not an argument. Let's say a disagreement. Yeah. I was on the phone with her. We were just talking about, the passing of my cousin and a couple of different things. And I had made a comment about, I'm so glad that Trump was not found guilty again because he didn't cause an insurrection. And she said, yes, he did. And I said, no, he did not. And she goes, he most certainly did. And I asked her, how? Well, he asked everybody to come down to Washington. I go, yes, he did. And he asked people to come down to show support for him and to show Congress and the senators how many people supported Donald Trump. Said he did not say, march down to the Capitol and break in and go inside and destroy property and hurt people. And she was trying to tell me, yes, he did. I said, no, he didn't. And this shows you that how the left is so brainwashed. And it shows you that they're watching CNN, ABC News, MSNBC, NBC News. They're watching the mainstream media and getting this crap. And what I tried to say to her was, if I knew somebody was going to be speaking somewhere and it was somebody that I didn't agree with, and all of a sudden I said to all my friends, hey, let everybody, and put a big message, let's go down there and show our support and let them know that we don't agree with them. If another group showed up and went and started hurting those people and destroying property, am I going to get blamed because I got a bunch of people to go down there? She's like, no, because you didn't. I go, exactly what I'm saying about Donald Trump. I said, get over your hatred for that man and just listen. And I'm like, sometimes I just don't think it's worth it. Oh, so this I find quite comical. This was out in The Guardian. Global lockdowns every 2 years needed to meet Paris CO2 goals studies. Carbon dioxide emissions must fall by the equivalent of global lockdown roughly every 2 years for the next decade for the world to keep within safe limits of global heating, research has shown. Lockdowns around the world led to an unprecedented fall in emissions of about 7% in 2020 for about 2.6 BN tons of CO2. But reductions of between 1 BN and 2 BN tons are needed every year for the next decade to have a good chance of holding temperatures rise to within 1.5 Celsius or 2 Celsius of pre-industrialized levels as required by the Paris Agreement. Now, not for nothing, one of my favorite sayings, even prior to the COVID lockdowns, the United States had one of the best, has the cleanest air out of everywhere. And we do not need to be responsible for the rest of the world and their emissions. They should be on top of them. And China's the biggest polluters out there. Research published on Wednesday shows that countries were beginning to slow their rates of greenhouse gas emissions before the COVID-19 pandemic struck, but not to the levels needed to avert a climate breakdown. Since lockdowns were eased in many countries last year, there have been strong signs that emissions will rise again to above the 2019 levels, severely damaging the prospects of fulfilling the Paris goals. Well, you actually need carbon dioxide for plants and things like that. So, I'm wondering if Biden has bought his way out of being charged in Ukraine for the stuff that he did. Biden admin already striking deals with Ukraine, $125 million in taxpayer money on its way. And this was from conservativebrief.com. And let me just share the article so you can see it. And look at that face. I can't stand this guy. Can't stand him. Joe Biden has only been in the White House for slightly more than a month and has already found a mountain of cash to send to Ukraine. You may remember the small nation of Ukraine as the one where his son, Hunter Biden, made tons of cash as an executive for the energy company when he had no experience. No experience. Where can I find a job like that? The Biden's closeness with Ukraine was a major issue during the 2020 presidential election, and now the Biden administration's Department of Defense is providing a $125 million grant to Ukraine to help its ability to combat Russian aggression, the Daily Caller reported. The package comes roughly 7 years after Russia first annexed Crimea a region of Ukraine in 2014. Russia has maintained high levels of aggression towards the former Soviet nation in the last years since. Former President Donald Trump was notoriously impeached and subsequently acquitted for holding up a military grant to Ukraine in 2019 for political reasons. There's no evidence to suggest that there is any connection to the Biden's family cozy relationship with Ukraine or the Trump impeachment and this payment, but it does raise some eyebrows, as it should. This action reaffirms the U.S. commitment to providing defensive lethal weapons to enable Ukraine to more effectively defend itself against Russian aggression, John Kirby, the Pentagon press secretary, said to reporters on Monday. Also, they're going to get money or they're going to get blankets. What will happen? Biden and Secretary of State Tony Blinken have said that countering both Russia and China on the global stage is a top priority for the administration. While Biden has taken several actions to begin more effectively competing with China, the additional Ukraine funding is the first major action the administration has taken in countering Russia. Biden also called on Russian President Vladimir Putin to release his top rival, Alexei Navalny, who was poisoned with nerve agent in 2020. Navalny has been arrested and charged after returning to Russia in January. There are American citizens desperately. Let me read that again. There are American citizens desperate to pay their bills as businesses remain closed, but somehow the Biden administration found $125 million for a foreign nation. This is the crap that pisses a lot of people off. Americans got $600. How about sending out that kind of money to the American people who have put up with the crap that the government has put us through? You may remember when Biden famously bragged about holding up funds to the Ukraine until it fired a prosecutor who was coincidentally investigating the company that his son, Hunter Biden, was the executive for. It was not I, but it just happened to be that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. And so I got Ukraine. And I remember going over, convincing our team, our leaders, to convincing that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, the 13th time to Kiev. And I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenuk, I can't say this guy's name, Yatsenuk, that they would take action against a state prosecutor. And they didn't, he said. So they said they were walking out to a press conference. I said, nah, I'm not going to. Or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. I think it was about 6 hours. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired, he said. And I guarantee you that the dementia patient doesn't even remember saying this. I'm sure he doesn't. Let's see if we got anything else going here. So Millie Weaver, she put this out today. Dear Director Wray, your statements that the FBI has not seen any evidence that members of Antifa, BLM, or other leftist affinity groups were involved in storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are false. Your agency and DHS had that evidence beforehand, and I can prove it. And she's got emails. I can't make it any bigger to read it. But apparently people have proof. So I thought this was awesome, and I'm going to bring it up. I want to see if I can get it to come up bigger, but I can't. I probably can. Hold on a second, because I think this is actually funny. What the MSM won't report, the complications of prolonged mask use. Repeated inhaling of CO2 causes high blood pressure, hypercapnia or hypercarbia, acidosis, rapid heart rate, electrolyte imbalance, headaches, chest pains, confusion, fatigue, possible brain hemorrhage, organ damage over time, dementia over time, disorientation, social alienation, mental anxiety, auto and on-the-job accidents. The experts are killing us. Well, that is true. That is very, very true. I'll be very happy when we don't have to wear these face diapers anymore. So this actually I thought was quite interesting. Breitbart put this out today. It was a poll taking. The Harvard-Harris poll, which surveyed 1,778 registered voters from February 23rd to the 25th of 2021, found 71% of respondents believe Antifa is a domestic terrorist group. I am going to play this audio for you to have a quick listen to.
Poll, 71% believe Antifa is domestic terrorist group. By Wendell Hasebo on March 2, 2021. A Harvard-Harris poll, which surveyed 1,778 registered voters from February 23 to 35, 2021, found 71% of respondents believe Antifa is a domestic terrorist group. Do you think Antifa is a domestic terrorist group? 71% yes, they're a terrorist group. 29% no, they're not. Ryan James Gurdusky, at Ryan Gurdusky, March 2, 2021. When the poll asked which is more concerning, the violence in American cities during the summer or the riots at the Capitol on January 6th. The violence in the cities won the majority with 55%. The poll followed up with another question. Do you think that the events at the U.S. Capitol are being used by politicians to suppress legitimate political movements, or do you think there is no such suppression of legitimate movements? 62% said yes. 36% said no. According to the poll, President Joe Biden's least popular executive orders are Requiring schools to let biological boys play girls' sports, 45%/55%. Reducing deportations for illegal aliens who have committed a crime, 45%/55%. Canceling the Keystone Pipeline, 47%/53%. Reducing immigration enforcement, 49%/51%. The poll questioned how many think people who cross the border from Mexico illegally should be turned back to Mexico or released into the U.S. with a court date. 67% said they should be turned back to Mexico, and 33% said they should be released into the U.S. with a court date. The poll also included the question, do you think that any holes in the border wall with Mexico should be patched or should be left open? 73% of the people surveyed said patched, and 27% said left open.
And I think that was a good poll. I thought it was interesting. And most people do consider Antifa a terrorist organization. And then you have Director Wray saying, no, they're an idea. What a jerk this guy is. And you have people that are weak-minded that will join these groups because they're just misguided. Oh, yeah, this was something that I came across earlier, and it had to do with illegals. Oh, where was it? Yes, 108 illegal immigrants, that's what it was, released by Border Patrol in Texas, tested positive for COVID-19, officials say. Isn't that interesting, since Texas just opened everything up? Yeah. Ay. And then this is going to be my last thing that we're going to discuss today. Have you been following the sinister plot by big tech? Yeah. Just like I have. And everybody is being censored. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, racial governors shut down our economy and forced mandatory stay-at-home orders. They shut down our businesses, our houses of worship, and our communities. They told us it was for the greater good and had only lasted for a few weeks. Here we are, a year later. Fast forward almost 10 months later, and radical governors continue to shut down the public square. Forced to stay inside, we had nowhere else to go to voice our opinions but online platforms like Facebook and Twitter. And of course, you know that those two particular companies are shutting down conservative voices. Facebook and Twitter, they banned Donald Trump. They reduced the number of people following conservatives on social media. They've wiped out a ton of accounts. YouTube did the same thing, took out a bunch of people. They actually tried to ban Rand Paul. They did a temporary ban on him. So when millions of us were censored on sites like Facebook and Twitter, everybody went to new platforms like Gab, Parler. There's another thing called Megabook. There's MeWe, Spreely. There's a bunch of different conservative sites out there. And I'm kind of still not, I'm a little leery of Parler still right now. And we'll test a few things with that. So you have that. And then you know that in California, I think they have 1.7 million signatures to recall Gavin Newsom. They want to get up to 2 million because they know what's going to happen. They're going to scrutinize all of these signatures to make sure they're valid. It's okay for that, but not for the election of president. And then Newsom, who has, shut down more than a lot of the states that I'm aware of, they're still trying to criminalize religious gatherings under the guise of public safety. But they're keeping pot dispensaries open, big box stores, not allowing restaurants to open. I'm so glad I don't live in California. I realize, it's bad enough being in Massachusetts. And then, like, you look at mainstream media attacking conservatives. You see like Chris Cuomo constantly berating conservatives, calling people Bible thumpers, and I think that was Marco Rubio. Yeah, I call him Mr. Bible Boy or something like that. There are so many lawsuits going on right now. I'm constantly getting bombarded by well, I'm having a brain fart right now. I'll get to look in my email of who it was, because I think I deleted it. Let me go here. Sorry, everybody. Let me look real quick. It's going a little low. Let's see. Oh, Tom Fitton. Oh, I was really having a brain fart there from Judicial Watch. I'm constantly getting stuff in my mailbox, looking for money, and they're going after Biden and big tech. You have other people starting to sue. And in all honesty, I hope that Gab takes down big tech and their memberships are like increasing exponentially every day. I can't wait till they start doing the live streaming. I really can't. But yesterday in my video, I talked about Andrew Cuomo, about his accusers and all that. Apparently, Cuomo's latest accuser has photographic evidence to back up her claim. This is just a distraction. It really is just a distraction. They, because of the nursing home scandal. And yeah, if he really sexually assaulted somebody, or there was if somebody feels uncomfortable with sexual innuendo, you're supposed to say, can you knock it off? Oh, discrimination. I don't know what the hell's going on in my brain today. But you cannot do that kind of stuff in the workplace. Well, if it's outside of the workplace, you just say, hey, stop it. Back off. But then if there's retaliation later on from that said individual through work or whatever, and you have a case to sue them. But I think it's like, look over here, forget about this right now. He needs to go to jail for what he did in handling these corona patients and sending them to the nursing homes. When he had the Javits Center open to him, he had that hospital ship. And then there was something else that he did not use. They sent them to the freaking nursing homes. And I hope he goes to jail for that. I really do. So I'm not going to talk about Cuomo with the sexual things anymore. I just want, I want to find out if there's more going on with the nursing home scandal. And this is actually kind of funny. Mitt Romney, who I can't stand. Romney was seen with a black eye and stitches after a fall, but jokes injury was from going to CPAC. He wasn't invited to CPAC. I took a fall. It knocked me unconscious, but I'm doing better. Went to CPAC. That was the problem. In reality, Romney did not attend CPAC because he was not invited. This is true. But instead, he was injured while visiting his grandchildren and family in Boston, Massachusetts, where he served as governor, according to the Salt Lake Tribune. The senator said he had a lot of stitches in his eyebrow and lip. Romney has been a vocal critic of Trump and was one of the 7 Republican senators who voted to convict him of inciting the January 6th Capitol riot during the impeachment trial in February. You know what I hope? I would hope some people in Massachusetts took him out because he did a lot of stuff to hurt our state. Oy, oy, oy. But I'm going to end it here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace out.